What's going on YouTube? My name is Mr. Crippled, and today I'm going to be talking about the God reveals from Titan Talk for Smite 2. Now before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you'd like to keep up with any future content, I will be leaving a link to my Twitch and my Discord in the description below. Now, we have some pretty exciting people coming into Smite 2. The first one is going to be coming out on the 23rd of September, and finally, we're starting to get more auto attack based hunters because the next one is going to be X Ball. So there's a couple of things that they talked about. The model, as I'm showing on the screen now, looks a lot better comparatively. A couple of the things that they did talk about is that the first thing is that the character is going to be purely strength based. There isn't going to be any hybrid scaling, which does kind of suck. But there is something that they were talking about with X Ball. So if you played Smite 1 and you first knew when he first released, his ultimate had a special property on it where if you stood still after a timer went down, you were instantly stunned on the spot. So your only choices were either A, to move and risk the stun, or B, stand still and just get hit anyway and not get stunned. So it was basically like a double layered or a double layer of CC, and people were complaining about it, and it eventually got removed. I think like a year and a half down the line. However, now X Ball is they're talking about giving his stun back in Smite 2. They're not entirely sure yet, and they're trying to figure out whether or not they want what they want to do with it. But there is talks about changing the ultimate in the first place. So we could be getting a stun back. It could be possible that we could be getting a mez or something else along those lines with the buff to the ultimate. So hopefully we'll be able to see more information about that. Secondly, this one's more for me. Osiris is going to be coming out on October 7th. Um, a lot for me personally, he was one of my favorite auto attack solo laners right now. He still is a nightmare for ADCs to deal with, and he saw a lot of meaningful buffs in Smite 1 that made him even scarier for ADCs to fight against. A couple confirmed things about him. They're in the works of trying to make it to where you can stay in your spectral form longer. If you don't know what that is, every single time you cast an ability in Smite 1, a piece of Osiris would fall off and it would be replaced with like a ghostly form, and each piece that he had would give him damage. I believe it was just damage reduction, and then once he lost 7 or 8 pieces, he gained double the damage mitigations, and then his auto attacks didn't have the movement speed. So they're in the works of trying to make it to where you're rewarded for staying in spectral form longer. And to assist with that, first and foremost is that he is going to have some protection scaling. So the more protections you build on him, the more damage he will be outputting. There isn't any confirmation on hybrid scaling, though. It's not confirmed whether or not he's going to be pure strength still, or he's going to get a little bit of intelligence scaling. Personally, I think he'll be better as just pure strength scaling, but we'll see when the god comes out. There is other things that they said they were going to be adding. Again, it's not entirely confirmed yet because they're still kind of trying to work through the kinks. But it is mentioned that you are going to be rewarded more for playing in his playstyle, which is basically just W keying. So that could mean a plethora of things. Maybe his slow that he gets will be increased. Maybe the 2 will be increased. The damage on his sniping 2 will be increased. I don't know. There could be a lot of things that they could be working on with him, but there is going to be more rewards for W King. And lastly, they did mention that he is going to be having an aspect and they're working on it. And the only hint we got is that it will, quote unquote, flip the script on his passive. This could mean a lot of things. The most basic thing that can come to mind for me is that maybe he starts in spectral form, and whenever he casts abilities, he'll gain pieces of himself, and the more pieces he gains to himself, he'll get like extra damage, or basically turning him into an auto attack DPS. That will be something that would be really cool. Other people were speculating that maybe he starts off really powerful in his spectral form, and then after he uses a couple abilities, then he'll go back to his physical form, and his damage will be decreased for a set amount of time before going right back to the spectral. There's a lot of implications on that, and I'm personally excited for what they could do with that aspect. And then the final thing I do want to talk about is that they did hint at the next god. Now, they did say the god will be female because they felt like they were receiving backlash for not releasing enough female characters. Me, personally, I don't really care for that. I mean, just release the gods if they're fun, they're cool. I'm not really sure who's really complaining and being serious about female gods not really being released. But either way, there's going to be they did make a hint at the next god. Unfortunately, Tsukuyomi, there wasn't really anything touched on him, but he will be spoken more about on Wednesday. But that's basically it for the reveals for the gods for Titan Talk. I think the models look amazing. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below and who you hope that the next god is going to be. Me personally, I hope it's somebody like Daji or Hera. But thank y'all for watching, and y'all take care.